7 seconds is all it took for a Ukrainian sea drone to change aerial warfare forever with a missile that cost less than a 2003 Toyota Corolla. At 0315 hours, a MAGURA Sea drone call sign Alpha 111 slices through the surface of the Black Sea, maintaining just 4 in a freeboard as it cruises at 39 knots. No navigation lights are on as it makes a barely visible wake in the darkness. 70 kilometers south of Odessa, Alpha 111 enters grid box Blackbird 5. The drone's electric motors emit only a low hum that dissolves instantly into the ambient noise of wind and water as it slackens speeds and awaits its prey. Inside a nondescript command van near Oak, more than 100 m away, 2 operators hunch over glowing displays. Hands wrapped around steaming coffee mugs, they monitor the thermal and electro-optical feeds with practiced vigilance. The FLIR screen shows nothing but cold waves and the distant heat signature of a Romanian oil rig.
Then a flicker.
One heat plume materializes at the edge of the screen. Then another, both airborne, both information. By 0412 hours, the thermal signatures resolve into clearly defined shapes. 2 fast movers running a north-south track at low altitude. The silhouettes are unmistakable. Su-27S performing what has become a standard Russian Navy drone hunting pattern. One peels away from formation, banking toward Alpha 111's position. The drone software reacts instantly. It throttles back to 18 knots. Its hull settles lower, mimicking wave patterns. Its thermal signature merges with the ambient water temperature, making it indistinguishable from the waves around it. The Su-27 drops altitude, searching for drones like this. The aircraft's thermal sensor beneath its nose detects something. Perhaps a wave reflection. Perhaps something more. The operator whispers, he's got to get a visual. His fingertip hovers over the screen, then taps a command. Alpha 111's targeting mass rises silently from its housing. Mounted amidships, secured to a stabilized platform, sits a repurposed MANPADS launcher primed for action. The Su-27 begins a slow port turn. Its engine exhaust now fully exposed to the sea below. Time to find out if this unprecedented gamble pays off. If you look at the central section of the drone, you'll notice this slender retractable stalk rising from just behind the forward communications array. That is the MAGURA V5's electro-optical targeting mast. And it is a specialized maritime surveillance and targeting system designed for extreme low-profile engagements from naval platforms. Inside this waterproof housing are 3 integrated sensors, a daylight camera, a long-wave infrared detector, and a precision laser rangefinder. The mast extends to a maximum height of 1.2 m above the deck, providing an optimal height for targeting aerial threats while minimizing its profile. The system's integrated laser rangefinder achieves accuracy within 2.3 m at distances up to 5 kilometers, while the thermal optic can detect engine plumes from fighterized aircraft at 3.1 kilometers even through maritime haze. This capability is precisely what allows the MAGURA to acquire, track, and develop firing solutions against aerial targets without betraying its position through active radar emissions. At 0416 hours, the Su-27 hangs against the pre-dawn sky 1.8 kilometers away, its dark silhouette occasionally disappearing into the clouds above. The fighter descends in a shallow arc, maintaining what pilots call visual recon posture. Slow enough to spot anomalies, fast enough to evade most ground fire. The Flinka's twin engines push it along at just under 400 knots. The pilot banking left to position for a broadside pass of the suspected contact area. Inside the command van, the atmosphere is tense. The operators breathe shallowly, muscles tensed as they watch the tactical display. A targeting reticle wavers, then locks center frame on the approaching aircraft. The lead operator toggles the laser rangefinder. A brief invisible pulse that bounces off the target and returns. The display flashes 1.68 kilometers. The mass compensates automatically for a sudden wave that rocks the drone platform. Its gyroscopic mount making micro adjustments 50 times per second.
No one speaks.
The only sounds are cooling fans and the soft click of control inputs. Mounted on Alpha 111's reinforced center deck sits a Ukrainian modified 9K-38. Known to NATO as the SA-18 Grouse, the Soviet-era MANPADS rests in a custom-fabricated cradle with auto-correcting stabilizers to compensate for sea motion. The weapon was never designed for maritime platforms, but engineering adaptations and a lot of ingenuity have made it possible. With the jet almost overtop the drone, the operators make the call.
Fire 1.
The launch sequence initiates with a percussive thump that shudders through the drone's composite hull. Flame erupts from the missile's motor, briefly illuminating the surrounding water in harsh orange light. The Eagle leaps skyward with a piercing shriek, trailing sparks and smoke. Alpha 111 rocks violently from the recoil, its speed dropping as it absorbs the blast. Inside the Su-27's cockpit, warning indicators suddenly scream to life with a missile lock tone blaring through the pilot's headset. His hand instinctively slaps the countermeasures panel, ejecting twin bursts of magnesium flares that bloom behind the aircraft, but he's slow and caught in the middle of a turn. He slams the throttles forward and banks hard, but it is not enough. The missile has acquired his engine heat signature and closes fast. At precisely 0417 hours and 11 seconds, 68 kilometers south of Odessa, the Eagle's proximity fuse detects the plane's position and detonates. Shrapnel penetrates the Su-27's starboard engine, igniting fuel and shredding control surfaces. The fighter convulses in midair, flame erupting from its rear fuselage. The pilot pulls the ejection handle, rocketing clear of the doomed aircraft seconds before it begins its terminal dive. The Eagle's compact design and heat-seeking guidance allowed for a reliable off-platform engagement despite seat movement and mounting instability. Its 2.5-second lock-and-fire cycle lets the operator exploit the Su-27's low-speed turn, forcing the jet into an unrecoverable situation before it could climb or accelerate. Without the drone's stabilized ELA mount, even a confirmed lock wouldn't translate to a clean shot. But although it was a good hit, it would mean nothing without reliable real-time communication. Likely scrambled from its patrol station near occupied Korean waters. Alpha 111 has expended its only weapon. Now it's running only on battery reserves and a prayer. Inside the command van, the primary data link stutters. The screen flickering between a clear feed and pixelated noise. The secondary operator's fingers dance across his console, adjusting gain on the Starlink uplink panel. Com links degrading, he reports his voice tight. Alligator must be running jammers. The drone continues transmitting, but signal integrity is failing. One sustained dropout could mean losing the entire mission feed, including verification of the Su-27 downing. Without that proof, Russian denial is certain. The lead operator inputs an emergency burst command sequence. Alpha 111 responds immediately, pivoting 30 degrees northeast to establish a better course to align with the nearest satellite. The drone's main antenna glows as it channels maximum power into one final compressed data package directed straight to servers in Kiev. The digital pulse races skyward, carrying the evidence that will shock military analysts worldwide. The Starlink-enabled uplink ensures a complete post-strike analysis can reach Kiev even while Russian electromagnetic jamming and signal loss are affecting it. Without the burst mode failover, the strike data, FLIR footage, and hit confirmation can be lost, and the world would have no proof that a sea drone took out a fighter jet. And with the Ka-52 Alligator closing fast, the drone has less than 90 seconds to prove this ever happened. At 0420, the Ka-52 Alligator materializes through the haze. The helicopter's distinctive silhouette standing out against the dark horizon. Alpha 111 strains at maximum throttle, 42 knots. Its hull vibrating as it pounds through the waves. Salt spray pours over the sensor mass as it tries to get away, but the Alligator crew isn't searching blindly. They've tracked the missile launch signature and plotted interception coordinates with calculated precision. Inside the command van, tension thickens the air. The lead operator switches the drone to terrain echo evasion mode, tapping commands with sweat-slick fingers. Alpha 111 responds immediately, diving into the troughs between waves and maintaining a deliberate 6-degree yaw offset that mimics natural white cap patterns. The drone's tactical AI activates, implementing unpredictable course changes while maintaining a general heading. The screen shows a zigzagging wake behind the craft, but the evasive pattern isn't enough to break visual contact. At 0421, the Alligator transitions to a hover, its nose angling downward as it stabilizes just a few hundred yards from the drone. The pilot soon sights it and lines up his 30mm autoc cannon.
And it's all over.
The first burst rips through the pre-dawn stillness seconds later. A stream of 30mm rounds walks across the water and slams into Alpha 111. The impact resonates through the drone's hull. The left stabilizer tears away completely, sending a fountain of spray 20 feet skyward as the drone lurches violently to starboard. Battery warning indicators flash red across the command van monitors. Power reserves plummet. Damage to the starboard cooling vent is causing catastrophic heat buildup. The operators exchange grim glances. Alpha 111 has less than 2 minutes of life left. Soon, the Alligator adjusts its position and delivers a second burst. These rounds puncture the drone amidships, destroying the electro-optical mast in a shower of sparks and shattered composite. Back in the van, the video feed cuts to static instantly, but the mission's primary objective is already accomplished. The critical data package arrived intact just seconds earlier. At 0422, the Alligator descends for a final attack run. This burst walks methodically up the drone's central spine, rounds penetrating vital system compartments. Alpha 111's hull fractures along its structural seams. It flips once and sinks beneath the waves. Bye for now.